Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Convery. Today we have a special guest whose passion for Lego has turned into a heartwarming mission to bring joy and education to children in need. Joining us today is Charlie Jeffers, the 17-year-old high school student from Marin County, California, and the founder of Pass the Bricks. Charlie, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So excited to get going. Maybe we can do a few kind of get to know you rapid fire questions first. So, what are your preferred pronouns?
He, him.
Awesome. And what's your superpower?
Um, Good question. I I think I'm able to kind of understand stuff or get stuff done pretty quickly and kind of for the most part be pretty productive when I
Yeah,
don't put it off.
yeah,
But
that's a superpower. Moving quickly,
um
being productive, right?
yeah.
Um, I love this question because I get so many really cool answers because we all like our senses, obviously, but favorite smell, is there something that you love that just inspires you or makes you hungry?
That's a good question too. I don't know. I mean there's so many good ones. I mean there's
You can have a few.
um my dad makes a really good banana bread,
Uh,
and that smells so good. Um, so I might that's like what's on the top of my mind right now. So
yeah,
I
no,
might go with that.
banana breads, especially freshly baked. Oh my God, yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that's what I'll probably answer with.
Okay, cool. What is the best compliment you've ever received from someone?
That's also a really good question. Hmm.
I'm sure with
Yeah, I
all the impact you're having, somebody said some really nice thing to you.
yeah, I mean I don't know why I can't think of any off the top of my head, but
That's
like
okay. That's okay.
yeah, I don't
We can
know.
come back to it. That's fine. No
Yeah, it's all
problem. No
good.
problem.
All good.
No problem. All good. We all kind of like to snack on something. What is your maybe go-to snack?
Go-to snack. I don't know, um I also just love I don't know, good old chips, anything like that.
Chips?
I'll eat whatever. I'm so like I I am so open with just eating whatever.
Okay, that's awesome.
Um
Is there a favorite time of year, a favorite holiday that you like?
um I mean I just love the winter. I think that is such a fun time. So I might have to go with kind of that. Thanksgiving's also great.
Yeah,
It's really fun.
get family around.
Just yeah, I mean for both those, it's spending time with my family, but also you know, yeah, it's a great time. It's usually kind of the only time where I see a lot of my extended family, and so that's always really
Yeah,
fun to see them as well.
that's awesome.
So I think I'd probably have to go with that.
Okay, cool. And I know you're doing great work, which you're going to get into. And maybe that was your very first job, but have you done anything before that? Like what was the first thing you kind of did on your own or did as a job?
Um, I mean, I've had other paying jobs, but Pass the Bricks was kind of I guess that started before either of those. And so I mean it's yeah, it's kind of something I've been doing for a lot longer.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm looking forward to talking about that and sharing your experience with the audience here. If
Yeah.
you had to describe yourself maybe just in one word, what would that be?
Um Maybe passionate.
Passionate. That's a great word.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, First of all, I can't thank you enough for being on this podcast. Like I said, I saw your story all over the news and all over TV and radio, and I'm so glad that you're able to join us today and share a little bit of the insights into your passions and your ideas. So, you've been a Lego enthusiast since you were a younger kid. Can you tell us a bit about how that all started?
Yeah, I mean, I've been, building with Lego forever. Like I actually just did a set yesterday. I did like a car, like a Porsche race car, that I got for my birthday. Um,
Ah, happy birthday.
and my birthday was like over a month ago. I just haven't
Okay.
gotten
Well,
around to building it. Um, but like, and then I'm just like looking right now. I have a couple other on my floor that I like, still have. And like, I mean, my whole room is like decorated like wall to wall with Lego stuff. So I mean, I've been doing it forever, but it's yeah, I mean, it's always something that I've really enjoyed. I think part of that also comes from um the fact that my dad did it when he was a kid, and so I think I like he kind of put me on that
gotcha.
like forever ago, and so I think um yeah, but it's always something I've just loved doing. I've loved how simple and
Creative it
creative
is.
it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, and I think there's just so much you can do with so little in terms of um what you can make, and I think that is such a cool idea when it comes to a kind of like a play tool.
Yeah.
And I also just I don't know, kind of in 2020 noticing that I have all of these Lego things that I don't need or want anymore, and there's so many people who just would not have access to that. Um, really made me want to do something to address that kind of disparity.
Yeah, I think that, that's the inspiration for Pass the Bricks. Maybe could you tell us a bit more how obviously the idea came about through some of this thoughts, but
Right.
how did you get going? How did it come to you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so with Pasta Brick specifically, it was that and kind of um that idea. Starting it was kind of it was a little tough getting it off the ground because it was just like people in our kind of town or neighborhood that wanted to donate. We were like going like door to door, leaving like flyers and stuff. Um, and then kind of going from since then, it's been a lot more just I mean, after that, it was just like it was like people reaching out, um, asking how can they donate, but it was all very local. And then it started kind of getting picked up by different, first it was like our local newspaper, and then it was like the Marin County newspaper, and then there was some stuff kind of more out there, and then since like beginning of December 2023, it just exploded, and it's been so amazing to see. And now we're just we have so many emails from all over asking like what's the best way for them to donate, and I think that's just been so amazing to see.
That's incredible. And could you talk a little bit about what the organization does, just for the audience who may not know?
Right, yeah, sorry, I should have gotten into that first.
No, no, that's good.
Yeah, so what Pasta Bricks does is we collect used Lego bricks, and we kind of we clean them and organize them, and then we create and distribute new sets for kids who wouldn't otherwise have access to them.
Amazing. And your audience and people that get these, is it across the US? Is it specific to California? Like, how do
It
you
is
distribute
it's like 150 cities around the world. So
around the
most of that's
world?
in
Wow,
yeah, so most of that's in the US, but we have one in the UK, we have one in South Africa, one in Australia, I'm pretty sure. Um, kind of all over, but yeah, most of it's in the US, and there's a list of all of our ambassadors and how to contact them on our website.
amazing, amazing. Um, Running something at this, like at such a young start in your age and balancing studies and other activities. How do you manage your time with all this?
I mean, sometimes I definitely struggle managing
Yeah.
my time. I mean, it's definitely like
Honest answer. Right?
tough
Yeah,
sometimes to have it all work, but I'm kind of trying my best to keep it all going. I think for me now that the school year is kind of wrapping up, it's a bit easier to um like now I'm just kind of chilling for the rest like the next month. But before that it was definitely stressful and a bit hard to kind of keep it all
I can imagine. I can
working.
imagine.
But I mean, but yeah, and then I mean kind of, you know, um I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Um but I think yeah, I mean I also think just next year I'm not like I'm gonna be taking more of a kind of less of a hands-on role with like building stuff. And I think someone else will do that for kind of the Bay Area.
Okay,
And then, but I'll still be kind of, managing and overseeing all of it.
that's great.
So I think kind of in the meantime, I'm just kind of getting everything set up over here.
Lots of
Um,
organization,
and
yeah.
then, yeah,
What when you think about the impact that Pass the Bricks has had on the individuals and the community, is there anything that what comes to mind? Like, you must get stories and feedback and things. How has the impact been?
yeah, I mean, I think the kids who have gotten bricks have really loved them, which is, I mean, always so amazing to hear. Um, I mean, yeah, that's really all I can, hope for. It's just because, I like, I wanna I wanna make all these um like it's really just more like I want to make as many sets for kids as I can. Um and I think like with in terms of how big this project is, like, in scale since how it started, I'm so amazed and blown away by it because I just think like the more kids that we can reach, the better. Because there's like no harm in just trying to, you know, you know,
Help
help
them
some
out.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great mission. Um, there must be like a favorite set you've created through Pass the Bricks. Is there a favorite set?
That's such a tough
Hard to
question. I mean,
pick, I'm sure.
there's probably some really good ones. I don't know. I mean, probably
Or any ones that come to mind that you've done.
yeah. I mean, there's some like Star Wars inspired ones.
Okay.
Some like robots. There's just been a lot of ones where I can't think of them in particular, but it's always just a really good time to just kind of unwind and like kind of turn my brain off and just kind of build something. So it's always a good time trying to build a set.
Yeah, and how does that creative process? You say you turn your brain off, but you are using your brain too. Like that creative
Right.
process must come into play as well.
Yeah, I mean, um, I I guess
Do others work with you on it, or is it you alone kind of putting these things in?
um it's mostly me alone, um but sometimes we'll have like sometimes my dad will like he won't like help, but he'll build his own set or anything like that. But
Cool.
usually it's just kind of I find a minifigure that I like and I kind of build the set around them.
I see.
I just find that a bit easier because I mean I feel like kids really like playing with like whatever. But I think also the minifigures make it really fun because like they don't have to build whatever the set is, like they can turn it into whatever they want. Of
Absolutely.
course. So but I think like having a fun minifigure to build whatever you want with is like something that makes it kind of extra fun for them. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. So you start with something small and then you build out from there. Um,
yeah,
so you are 17, correct? Is that right?
I'm 18.
18? Okay,
Yeah.
that's right, because you had your birthday. So other young people like you that are out there listening to this, like I said, they might be thinking, "Wow, what a cool idea. I wonder how I could do something." What advice would you give to other young people who want to start their own projects or get involved in nonprofits or like go do something for the community like this? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, I think just, it like the best time to start is now, I would say, just because, it's like there's, it seems like such a daunting thing to do to start, a project. And it doesn't even have to be like a nonprofit, just any project in
Yeah.
general, whether it be, work or creative or school or anything. Like, I think, it's always, and for me, I think I kind of get overwhelmed with that sometimes, but um, I think honestly, the best way to just kind of, you know, get past that is just doing it. Like, there's no way around starting something.
Yeah, and I think people get caught up in the idea and how do I start? Where do I go? How do I do? What if no one believes in it? Whatever. But to your
Yeah,
point, I think you just got to jump into it and just
and
right
just
and
go from there. Yeah.
just go from there. That's awesome. Thank you. How do you choose or figure out what organizations to partner with? Because you have partnerships across, right? So how do you work through that?
Right. I mean, usually, so I mean, it kind of depends for the different ambassadors, which are like the different kind of local pass the bricks, um, volunteers. For me in the Bay Area, I just kind of set up relationships with different nonprofits in the area. So like a Boys and Girls Club. There's a couple others, Family House SF, um, Red Finch House. Like there's a lot of different ones, but I mean some areas do it differently. Some do it through their school or through their church, and I think it's been super cool seeing everyone kind of take their own spin on it.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, it's like, I think like the idea of Lego, I think for Fast Fix, it should be kind of very, open and free for people to kind of like do it as they kind of best see fit. Because
Yeah.
I think like there's so much, like there's, a lot of, I think just like, because I think it's just so cool to see so many people help and like just want to help out in any
Yeah.
way that they can. And so I want to make it so that anyone
Can
can
partner.
do
Yeah.
however they would like. Just because it's so amazing to see all the like interest from people.
Yeah, and it all coming together. I can't imagine do you have an idea of how many bricks you have?
Bricks is like, I mean,
Thousands?
uh, it's got to be least at least I don't know bricks. I mean,
Because you have
I
to
feel like
store all this
just like
somewhere,
looking
right?
at my room, I don't even know how many bricks are in here. But for this whole project, I mean, we've probably you know built over 6,000 sets so
Wow.
far. So I think we're on track to hit like 25,000 this year.
Wow, that's a
Um,
huge growth. Yeah.
yeah, and so I mean that's so cool. I think we are, I would say just in my house alone, probably like several hundred thousand or million bricks.
Wow.
I mean, they're so small and we have so many.
Yeah. No, it puts it in perspective because I'm thinking in my head,
Yeah,
I can imagine whether your garage or you're an offsite thing, obviously to store stuff, but
yeah. I,
wow.
I I mean, it's just like such a impossible number to.
Yeah,
figure
you can't
out.
sit there and count.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just such a cool, such a. I think it's just been so cool to see so many people be interested in helping.
Yeah. No, well, you've started a movement for sure. And thinking about that, listening to some of the shows you've talked on and the features that I've seen and read about you, um, have you personally received like a thank you note or something that really made you smile or hit you when you read it? I'm sure people reach out and tell you.
Um, I mean, I think just like hearing about kids who have really enjoyed um playing with our sets, I think that's kind of just been amazing to hear about and see. And so I think it's always because like it's it's not like that's what really makes it all worth
Oh,
doing.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Um
And
and
do they
so I
write
think
you or do they reach out? Do they use social media?
um
Or do you
I've just seen
just
like photos or like
gotcha?
seen it in person. I think that's always just super fun.
Yeah. No,
But
it's
yeah.
cool. So cool. Um, all right. Well, thinking like listeners on this podcast are like I told you all over the world, a big heavy bunch of folks in North America listening. Is there any way that they can maybe get involved or think of being an ambassador or what could possibly help you from the listeners who are interested in getting involved in Pass the Bricks?
Yeah, I mean, if any listeners are interested in becoming ambassadors and kind of being the local kind of, person for Pass the Bricks in your area, if you're interested in helping, you can just email us, which is passthebricks@gmail.com. Um, and we can kind of give you more info to set you up with that.
Awesome.
Or, um, if you're interested in donating, you can go to passthebricks.org and you can look at our list of ambassadors to see kind of who's nearby and who you should reach out to donate sets. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. And um, kind of I know you talked about going up to 25,000. What's next for Pass the Bricks? What do you think as far as plans to expand?
I mean, I don't know. I think just like the bigger the better. Um, like there's no, you know, like
No end to it, really.
yeah, I mean, I think just honestly as big as we can, I think is better because I think just there's so many, you know, there's just so many kids out there who, otherwise wouldn't have access to Lego, um, and kind of play in that nature. And so I think just as much as we can, I guess, would be
Yeah,
good.
no, I think you're onto something really interesting, and like I said, it caught my attention, and I really thank you for sharing a bit more about it and your involvement and inspiring other people to think about giving back to their community or getting involved in what their passions are. That's the whole purpose of this podcast. But I do want to ask you, is there anything before we wrap that I didn't ask you that you wanted to share about you, the mission, the Pass the Bricks, whatever, with the audience, or anything you want to tell them that maybe we didn't talk about?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think I kind of
Okay, you got it.
covered all of it. Yeah. Um, yeah,
Awesome.
I think.
Well, I want to hope you have an awesome summer as you're kind of wrapping up school and spend some time, outside. That was a question I had. What do you do outside of the bricks? Because I mean, there must be other things you do, other
Um,
activities, anything.
I mean, just like in general, I like to um, rock climbing.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, uh, yeah, just like working out, hanging out with friends, all sorts of stuff. I mean, especially now that it's like starting to get like, 70s
Nice out.
outside again, it's starting to be so nice out. And so I think just like I'm gonna try and spend as much time during the summer as I can outside.
That's awesome. Like I said earlier, when we get in the beginning, you live in a beautiful place in the world in California, and there's so much you can enjoy with the outdoors and
Right.
getting
Yeah.
outside. You're lucky. I
Hmm.
spent some of my time there, and I love California. But well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, sharing a bit about the organization, a little bit about you and what you're doing. We need more Charlies in the world that are actually helping other people and other young people to have inspiration and to have opportunities to to play with toys and to play with bricks and things like that. And we know it's not always equitable out there for everyone, and not everyone has access. So thank you so much from me and from our listeners for all that you're doing, and for the listeners too. Like, if you want to get involved with Charlie's mission, he shared some of the information here. You can also check out his website and things. But I want to thank you so much, Charlie, for joining me today on a very early morning for you out west, and talking through some of this with our listeners. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking with you.
Awesome. So, for the listeners, if you liked what you heard today, please follow us on any podcast channel you go to, including Spotify. You can also follow us at Coffee with Convery on Instagram. And for now, stay well.